Aurora and Arthur Petrova. A trip to Snaresbrook, Peterborough and Birmingham, but not without its dangers. Toils and snares. Part 1. The morning mist is swirling on this Saturday in fall, the 27th of October, as the Petrovas stand tall. At 33 Falmouth Road, the Springfield air is cold, as Petar packs the black estate with luggage brave and bold. His blue glasses catch the light, while Maria helps the task. Her orange frames a steady shield, a calm and quiet mask. Her hair is in a tight-knit bun, her movements full of grace, concealing kettle-scalded scars upon her gentle face. Dobarden. Petar chirps, his voice a melody of cheer. As Birmingham awaits them now, the journey's drawing near. Before they hit the motorway, they have a task to do, to leave their furry friends behind with neighbors they both knew. Harlow the Dalmatian stands with coat of spotted ink, observing all the packing with a thoughtful canine wink. Kiev, my ginger comrade, do you sense the coming ride? The cat narrows his emerald eyes and tries his best to hide. The children are loquacious, Kiev hisses with a sneer. Their cacophony of chatter is a thing I truly fear. Harlow barks a soft rebuke. Your malice is abysmal, to find a family holiday so dreary and so dismal. Aurora is 12 years old and full of vibrant spark, her pink glasses shining bright before the morning's dark. Her twin pleats swing like pendulums, her fake fringe neatly set. She's ready for the longest drive the family's taken yet. Beside her stands young Arthur, 10, with glasses tinted green, the apple of my eye, Petar says, the brightest boy he's seen. Arthur loves the piano keys, his fingers quick and light, while Aurora talks and talks and talks from morning until night. They climb into the BMW. The engine starts to hum as the long-haul trip to Birmingham has finally begun. They reach the woods of Snaresbrook, where the trees are turning gold, to find the food for Pastor Daniel that is waiting to behold. The Nigerian feast is fragrant, spices dancing in the air, as Petar greets the holy man with gestures kind and fair. Bless you, mate, the pastor says, his smile wide and bright, as he hands over the parcels that are wrapped up good and tight. Safe travels on the motorway. May your engine never stall. He waves a friendly hand as they head back to take the haul. Petar nods with gratitude, his blue glasses on his nose, as the scent of jollof follows him wherever Petar goes. But Maria turns her head around, her orange glasses stern. It's time to put the screens away. There's much for you to learn. She confiscates the bright devices, phones and tablets too, for she has brought some paper books for both of them to view. Arthur sighs and takes his gift, a story for the way, while the silence in the back seat starts to ruin Aurora's day. It's unfair, she complains aloud, her voice a rising tide. But Maria ignores the storm that's brewing deep inside. Arthur opens up a book, his focus sharp and keen, the most obedient young lad that Springfield's ever seen. Kakvo pravish? Maria asks as Aurora starts to glow. Read 50 pages of this book before it's time to go. What not to do if you become invisible is placed in Aurora's hand, a monotonous assignment that she simply hadn't planned. The pages smell of ink and glue, a literary treat, but Aurora finds the mandate to be nothing but defeat. Her incense rises rapidly. She feels a sudden sting. She does not want to read a word or do a single thing. She glares at her mother's bun, her anger like a fire, as the tension in the BMW rises even higher. The frustration starts to exacerbate, a juvenile display, as Aurora grips the paper in a truly dismal way. With a sudden, sharp explosion, she begins to rip and tear. She wrecks the spine and scatters white confetti in the air. I did it accidentally, she declares with fake surprise, though the fire of her temper is reflected in her eyes. The cacophony of crinkling sheets fills up the cabin space as she mars the lovely gift with a red and angry face. She has acted quite impulsively, her self-control is gone, and the ruin of the storybook continues on and on. Petar pulls the black estate onto the gravel shoulder. His blue-glassed gaze is icy and his temper's getting colder. T.C. Losha, he exclaims, his voice a thunderous crack as he turns around to face the girl within the velvet back. A Sharp and sudden discipline is dealt for what she's done, for wrecking books is never part of Petrova-style fun. Aurora's infantile behavior meets a stern and swift reply as she lets out a piercing wail and starts to loudly cry. Proper out of order that, Petar says with heavy sigh, as he watches tears of anger welling in his daughter's eye. The car remains in park a while, the engine's pulse is still, as Aurora's heart is captured by a dark and bitter will. In a fit of sheer frustration, she leans forward from her place and bangs her head against the wheel with a twisted, crying face. The horn lets out a sudden honk, a loud and jarring sound, as her forehead hits the leather while her tears fall to the ground. She is acting like a baby, full of spite and petty rage, a difficult and marred beginning for her story's middle stage. Petar watches silently, his blue frames on his nose, wondering when this stormy day will finally reach a close. In Peterborough, they arrive at 23 Teasel Way, where the Antonio family is prepping for the day. Aunt Florence greets them at the door with arms both wide and warm, wearing a black turtleneck to hide the kettle's harm. A red dress flows around her knees, her bun is neat and tight, her light brown hair is shimmering within the morning light. Namaste, she cries to them. Goeiedag, she adds with pride, as she invites the reticent group to step and come inside. Maria smiles at her old friend, a bond that's deep and true, as they share the heavy burdens that a mother has to do. Uncle Taryn brings the snacks, a Jaipur native's pride, but Aurora looks at Aldi bags and wants to run and hide. Theek hai? Taryn asks the girl, his glasses on his face, but Aurora treats his kindness like a total, dark disgrace. This food is quite inferior, she says with haughty tone. Her attitude is sharper than a polished, jagged bone. Taryn's patience starts to fray, his smile starts to slip, at the juvenile remarks that fall from young Aurora's lip. Her behavior is abysmal, making everyone feel small, as she stands amidst the ornaments within the entrance hall. Joshua and Anukampa are playing on the floor, but they do not want Aurora coming through the bedroom door. Anukampa, in his favorite blue, gives her a narrow look, while Joshua, 18 and tall, reads from a heavy book. The older boys are unified. They exclude her from the game, and Aurora's heart is burning with a cold and bitter flame. Joshua wears his glasses well, a smart and steady lad, while Anukampa's silence makes Aurora feel quite bad. They treat her like a stranger, like a nuisance on the rug, leaving her without a word, or even just a shrug. In the garden, Shrek the guinea pig is nibbling on some grass, as Aurora watches through the fence and waits for time to pass. Her anger is a boiling pot, a dark and heavy thing. She wants to cause a fracture. She wants to feel a sting. She finds a stone upon the path, a weapon made of flint, and hurls it at the little hutch without a single hint. It strikes poor Shrek. She'll claim it happened accidentally in her head, as the tiny creature falls and the garden fills with dread. The afternoon is marred by what her spiteful hand has done, beneath the fading shadows of the Peterborough sun. The Antonios must leave for church, all dressed in formal white, for a wedding celebration in the coming evening light. Florence wears a flower girl dress, lace and silk so fair, as the Petrovas prepare to breathe the Birmingham-bound air. Petar grabs the heavy bags, while Taryn says goodbye, beneath the purple canopy of a cooling autumn sky. "We're ecstatic to be moving," Petar whispers to his friend as they reach the final stage before the journey's end. The BMW hums to life, the tires begin to spin, leaving all the chaos and the teasel-way within. At the Hilton Metropole, the journey finds its end as the elevator rises with a family to mend. Room 307 waits, a sanctuary of light, after all the snares and toils of a very long-haul flight. Aurora and young Arthur find their beds so soft and white as the anger of the afternoon begins to lose its bite. "Lekker slap," Myrtia says as she turns off the lamp, after a day of motorways and weather cold and damp. The lights are dimmed, the world is hushed, the Petrovas are home. Resting for the next part of the city they will roam.